Welcome to the Put On Waivers Media Group, home of the Put On Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
And welcome, everybody, to another glorious episode of the Put On Raiders podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, along with Ryan Holmes, and we are podcasting off the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. PORSBR is my Twitter handle, and also Ryan's is RHOLM22. You can check his fine work on the X app, doing all 22, just to get reprimanded by Raider fans about it. But so we'll just
not all of them.
No. Some appreciate the work. Many appreciate the work. Also, the text line below. I know we got some questions off that text line as well. So we'll get to some of those. There's a lot going on here, and I know I was in Twitter Spaces before and after the game to hear the vitriol, if you will, from Raider fans. And I gotta say, when Raider fans are united, you're in trouble, because we haven't been united for a long time, and it seems like they're pretty united in that they want this coach to be gone. And I think the first question that Hondo Carpenter asked in the press conference, and I'll turn it over to you, Ryan, after this, so we can both talk about it, was he kind of chronicled, like, listen, like, ever since you have stepped foot in the door, it's 21 games, and this offense is worse than the John Gruden, Greg Olsen offense. It's worse. It's been bad. And why? And my next point, he went off to another arena. My question would have been, why do you get to stay? because obviously what you're doing offensively is just not working. They got pushed around again. Thoughts about what we saw in Los Angeles with the Chargers and Raiders with the Raider offense?
Yeah, first of all, we have to take a step back. We knew, and we gave predictions based on who the quarterback was going to be, and I believe we gave score predictions for all three. We didn't have the Raiders winning this game, no matter who the quarterback was. I think it's just the way they're playing these games, especially early, the first half, going into midway through the third quarter. The Raiders are what have they been down the last couple of weeks? 23-7, 24-7. Like, they're just not competitive until the very end, and then we just don't see a sense of urgency as we get into the early fourth quarter. And I know we were texting back and forth. They need to pick it up. Onside kicks don't exist in the NFL anymore. So you have to score touchdowns when you're down multiple scores, and you need to do it quickly. And to me, I think the problem with yesterday is, one, Aiden O'Connell played about as how I expected. The Tom Brady 2.0 and the Raider fans going crazy over the preseason. And we've talked about it on the show. I think he's still a long-term is a solid backup in the National Football League. He's not a guy that you're going to run out there and start and contend for division titles and playoff spots, and that's what this team needs. Obviously, they can't fix that problem this year. They have to ride with what they have. And, you saw what would happen when you put a rookie quarterback in a National Football League game, especially one that is not athletic, that's not going to move around. The offensive line had its ups and downs, but we saw Aiden O'Connell holding the ball in the game and taking sacks he did not need to take, and he ended up getting sacked 7 times. But then we also saw Josh McDaniels not help him out. He wasn't calling the quick game. He wasn't calling some curls, some slants, some screens. And when we look, I haven't looked at the all 22 yet. It's early. I'll probably get into that tomorrow or maybe later this afternoon. It looked like on the TV broadcast, it was just a bunch of vertical stuff for Adams and Myers. They didn't work them underneath. They didn't find the tight end. I mean, we might as well put Michael Mayer, as Hondo said, on the side of a milk carton at this point, along with Austin Hooper. They're just not using the tight ends this year. They're not using design stuff to the running backs. It was a lot of checkdowns. And Aiden O'Connell showed some grit, some toughness in the second half. He did adjust. He did get the ball to the backs. And I just didn't think it was a good game plan from Josh McDaniels to go into a week. And let's be honest, this Chargers team was down about half their roster yesterday. The Raiders didn't go in there and fight and claw against a fully healthy team. And to me, for the 4th week in a row, this team has not been prepared, and they've been undisciplined. And those are two things that we were promised as Raiders fans when this new regime came in. And they've cleaned out half I wouldn't say half. They've cleaned out 80% of this roster from last year. These are the guys Josh McDaniels wanted. These are the guys Dave Ziegler wanted. And to me, the glaring weakness here is the fact that for the second year in a row, the draft class are producing nothing. They're getting nothing from their 2 draft classes. And we were told that they would build through the draft. And when you trade up in the draft, and Dave Ziegler has moved around up and down pretty freely the last 2 years, when you move up to 35 and take a tight end, regardless of if he's ready, regardless of if he can block, clearly their scouting department and the coaching staff came together and targeted Michael Mayer and said, this is a guy we need to have in this offense. They gave up assets to go get him, and they can't figure out how to get him involved. And if he's not ready and needs to be developed, that's one thing, but that's still on the coaching staff and the scouting department for not realizing that when they took that player. They had every opportunity to meet with that player, to watch the film, to talk to the coaches at Notre Dame, to figure that out. And the same thing goes for Trey Tucker. They moved up, or they didn't move up, but they took Trey Tucker at the end of the 3rd round, and they can't even figure out how to get the ball in the guy's hands once a game. And those are luxury picks at that point. When you have a defense as bad as the Raiders' defense has been, and you passed over some pretty impactful-looking defenders at this point to take 2 guys that Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler wanted to put in this offense. And this offense is putrid right now. They're completing 3rd downs at 31%. They can't score. And they can't even get the 2 guys they targeted in this draft to help the offense to figure out how to catch 1 pass a game.
Yeah.
Those are the facts.
Those are the facts. And nothing else you can say about it. Listen, I mean, you know, I feel like I've seen teams implement, okay, we have to play a rookie quarterback, to play a young quarterback in his first or second start, and more was done to help that player.
Josh McDaniels did not help O'Connell yesterday.
He did not at all. You could have done a lot of. Could I see a bubble screen? Could I see something to get? Maybe it's a play act, just like.
You saw a jet sweep to touch pass to Josh Jacobs, the slowest guy in the offense. So come on, they were innovative this week.
I did see that. Get something quick for him to get. I get it. You got to be careful with the quick game, because they could just be Asante Samuel and the secondary could have been like, hey, he's going to be throwing short, whatever. We haven't seen all 22 yet, but you have Devontae, you have pieces on this team where you can get some yards and build his confidence to get things going, instead of just trying to run sweeps and run up the middle every 5 seconds. Just grow. What was the game plan for Mac Jones' first game? I'm sure it wasn't this. I can guarantee you, without seeing the film, it wasn't this, because the guy basically made the Pro Bowl his first year, with you at the helm as offensive coordinator. I think that's where I feel like a guy like Belichick came in and said, okay, no, I understand your game plan, but this is what we're going to do. It's frustrating to watch. It was really frustrating to watch. And I think that 4th quarter, where they had an opportunity to tie the game, really was frustrating to watch, because I thought that was just piss poor play calling. You get Devontae is on one shoulder. He can, just one. This is the reason why Devontae should go to the Hall of Fame, and he go to the Hall of Fame anyway. But this is why he's one of the best of all time. The dude goes to the locker room, probably gets shot up. He probably came and lifted his arm today. He basically has an entire drive where he carries your offense down to the 7-8 yard line.
3 yard line.
Jesus Christ. The 3 yard line. Was it 3 yard line? Oh my God. That was a 7.
I think it was a 3 yard line.
The 3 yard line. He makes a great catch. He tucks his shoulder in to make sure his shoulder hits the field, not the outside. And then you get an opportunity where it's 2 minutes, 35 seconds left. You want to run the ball on 2nd and 11 it's going out of business. But in that moment, you don't run the football down the middle. Just run the football in that spot. If you get stuffed, he mentioned about them being heavy personnel in the on the Chargers. Who cares? Everybody runs against the Chargers. If you get stopped, it's okay. It'll be 2nd down at the 3 yard line, and you most likely will run the next play under the 2 minute warning. You don't want to give Herbert a bunch of time anyway. So you want to score with the least amount of time possible, and then you take it from there. You have 4 shots at it. and then you have a rollout. My favorite play, a rollout to the right, sprint right option with a quarterback who can't run, where the run is not an option.
They called the same play on the red zone trip before, and it didn't work, and they went right back to the well.
Stubborn.
And clearly, the Chargers defense figured it out pretty quickly. And you're right, they should have run the ball. Like, you should have turned around and hand it off twice. Like, you need to get the clock under 2 minutes and run some time, or make the Chargers use timeouts. Is there a guarantee they were going to score if they ran the ball 3 times? No, there's no guarantee they're going to score, but there's 2.5 minutes left. Even if you tie the game, that's plenty of time for them to go down in a field goal. And they went down and basically threw the bomb on 3rd down anyways to beat Jacorian Bennett, another draft pick from the Ziegler regime, who just hasn't really played well for the first month of the season, but at least he's getting snaps. That's more than the other guys. But Josh McDaniels has to understand the time, the situation. You have Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, and Max Crosby trying to carry this team by themselves every week, and then Josh McDaniels keeps getting in the way. And
they really are.
I don't think he's lost the locker room. Like, they played hard, they fought back 2 weeks in a row. The problem is they're going to start looking around and saying, wait a minute, we're 21 games in, we can't score. It's not our problem. We're Hall of Fame guys. Those 3 guys, or Josh Jacobs might be. I wouldn't put him there yet, but they're going to start looking around and going, you know what? We put in all this work. We watch all this film. We do this, all this else. So we're doing it the Patriot way. We're doing it the way Josh wants us to do it. Guess what? Not working. And you heard Hondo say yesterday that there's players in the locker room that are losing trust in Josh Jacobs or Josh McDaniels. And I fully believe that. Like, at some point, this league is about production. And you can say whatever you want to say. You can say, watch the film, we'll fix it. I'm tired of coaches going to the podium and saying, we're going to watch the film and make corrections and fix it.
Can I make a point about that? Can I make a point about that real quick? So I like, to that point, this channel is also a USC show, so I had to hear Alex Grinch try to mansplain me about about why they struggle on defense, but neither here nor there. But a guy like Alex Grinch and a guy like Josh McDaniels, you get paid big bucks to fix things in real time.
That's their job.
That is your job, to fix it in real time. Like, you don't get a chance to go sit there and go, oh, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna go check on and watch the film. No. You get paid that money to fix this in real time. Like, the clock that used to go on 24. Kiefer Sutherland show. I love that show. It's old as hell, but I love that show. But like, all events happen in real time. Like, all those events happen in real time, cousin. We don't have a situation where we're like, oh, we get to go back and say, oh, you know what? I gotta look at the film. Like, dude, that should be like, that's the number one thing. I'm hiring a head coach. You can't go to the podium and say that. You get paid money to fix the running game, to fix the passing game, to fix the pass rush, to fix pass protection in real time.
I wouldn't even mind it if they could fix it next week, because they haven't been able to do that either, let alone real time. But this is the Josh McDaniels problem. It is now, and he created this, and Dave Ziegler created this with the roster they put together by coming in and ushering out players and bringing in their own players, and they have the right to do that. They're the GM, they're the head coach, but you have your guys, and you can't score 20 points. In 7 of their last 9 games, they haven't scored more than 18 points with the weapons that they have. I mean, you could give, I won't say all, you can give probably 70% of the offensive coordinators in this league Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams, and they're going to score 25 points a week.
And Jacoby Myers and Hunter Renfrow and Michael Mayer. I mean,
I got news for you. We're 4 games into this season. They don't care about Hunter Renfrow, and they're the ones that gave him the contract extension.
I know. I would love to see. I almost want to see Ben. Who's the coordinator for the Lions again?
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson, just so I can see what Michael Mayer is capable of, because Laporta looks like Kelsey out there right now. Like, he's just catching bombs with nobody around him.
Or if you're Ben Johnson, why would you take the Raiders job? He's going to have his pick of whatever job he wants. He's not taking the Raiders job, so we can move on from that.
You think so?
No.
What they get is the first pick in the draft.
He's not taking the Raiders job. You can mark the tape. He will not be the Raiders coach. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll eat it.
Why you gotta be so
He's
real?
not taking that job.
Why gotta be so real, man? God, that's everybody's hopes. Oh my God, I just don't. I mean, like, and then you have a situation where like you pushed all this money from Chandler Jones
and Garoppolo.
So you
That they
see
didn't have to do when the season started.
Where you're straight, where it handicaps you, like to not have. Like I thought this guy's going to be smart and have so it gives the Raiders financial freedom to be fluid. They can't even do that because they're sitting here watching. They're sitting here. All that money is pushed to the future. So now even if some new coach comes in, drafts a quarterback, he has to look at Garoppolo in practice every day, and then paying all that money for somebody who's not going to play. I mean, like alone, like I mean, me just looking at the running back room and the quarterback room, it's just a lot of wasted bodies in that room, and it drives me crazy. So I mean, Jacob Johnson did almost murder somebody on a kickoff return, so I give him props for that. But I mean,
he took a target off his face mask, which is more than I can say for Mayer. Like at least they threw the ball towards Johnson, and he caught one. He caught one.
Can we not have a coach who wants to throw the ball to the fullback? Can we in 2023? Like I inspired 2Y banana, and we got Jacob Johnson. Wait a minute, did he get more targets than Michael Mayer?
He had a mini in the game yesterday too that Michael Mayer's had the entire season.
Oh my God, Michael Mayer's like on a target list.
He had two. He has two the entire season.
Oh my God.
And he played 37 snaps yesterday.
Oh my God, that's nuts.
In a game where clearly the Chargers were playing deep coverage and they were trying to take away the deep stuff to Adams and Myers down the field.
Yes.
The only other option was to dump the ball to the running back or throw it to the slot, and we didn't really see that happen either.
Which was interesting to me because I mean, I mean, it worked. It's fine. It worked. It doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter. So basically, everything short was available, and the kid didn't take it. But my thing is this too is about the whole thing is like, how do you not have any accountability as a head coach in that moment? Like this kid was active. I'm gonna copy and I'm gonna show in this part of the show. I'm gonna show the tweet that Stuart Cravens put out about Josh McDaniels. I thought it was a really good one. But I'm sitting there saying to myself, like, dude, like you didn't protect him. You didn't have a game plan for him. He wasn't active. He wasn't active on game day to get the feel of like, oh my God, I might actually go in at any moment. Like none of that was available for him. And then you want to say the first thing you say, well, he would be the first one to tell you that you got to take care of the football. Like, okay, well, give him an opportunity to take care of the football. Like, give him an opportunity to get rid of the ball quickly. He wasn't like a big arm, John Elway type player at Purdue. He was just quick, decisive, surgical kind of passer. So I mean, and then you come with a game plan that's the opposite of that. That just makes no sense.
Well, I think this should put to bed the preseason star players should just automatically translate to the regular season because it's a different animal. He saw different defenses. He saw them probably trying to take away his number one target. He saw faster speed. The game really sped up on him yesterday.
Yeah.
The pocket presence wasn't there. Dropping balls, having a ball slip out of his hands for a fumble, having it knocked out from behind him and not feeling that pressure coming. Those are things that are going to happen when you have a rookie quarterback in the game. So I don't put a lot of that on him. My biggest problem was, and this happened last week with J.J. Watt, there was really no plan to slow down Khalil Mack. It was Joey Bosa wasn't on the field. So you had to just figure out where's 52.
Yep.
And we heard Josh McDaniels, and I'm going to call him out right now because in the post-game press conference, he was asked about it, and he said, we chipped him, we doubled him, we did this, we threw guys at him.
We hit him in the
He's
ribs.
just a great player. According to Next Gen Stats, they double-teamed Khalil Mack twice in the game yesterday. So you can say whatever you want at the podium, but we all know it's not true. We can turn on the film and we can count, or we can just rely on Next Gen Stats to give it to us. They didn't. They just thought they could block him one-on-one. And I have people tweeting back at me, well, he expects the player to do his job. That's not no. The coach's job is to take away the best pass rusher on the other team and game plan for him. It's not just to line up a body on the offensive line and say, well, I expect this guy to beat Khalil Mack. I expect this guy to beat J.J. Watt. That's coaching. And the same thing can be said on the defensive side of the ball. And I don't know what to take away from the second half of the game with Patrick. I don't know if the Chargers were just like, we're up 21-7, so we're not going to try anymore, or if the Raiders actually played really good defense for once. I do have a problem with the linebackers on this team, and it's something we talked about in the offseason. He blitzed a little bit yesterday with Spillane and Diablo, and they think they're crash test dummies because every time they blitz, they're running right up the middle, and they're like, where's the running back? They're like magnets to the running back. I'm going to blow this guy up and be macho and take myself out of the play. That's not your job on a blitz. It's to slip that guy and get to infect the quarterback. It's not to try to do a kill shot on the running back. And I can't wait to turn on the All-22. I might just show all of them on my timeline of just the linebackers just running in and allowing themselves to be blocked and pounding their chest because they ran into the running back. Like, it's ridiculous how often that's going on. And this regime, and I tweeted it yesterday about Spillane and Diablo just missing tackle after tackle after tackle. They decided to go into the season with those two guys when we all knew that was going to be a huge problem. And guess what? It's a huge problem. And that's kind of my biggest takeaway through 21 games of this regime. The problems they had when they inherited this team 2 off seasons ago are all still problems. And they've created additional problems on top of that. They haven't fixed a damn thing. And this team has regressed. And I hear Raider fans saying, well, we need continuity. We need to keep this together. We need the staff. The issue they didn't inherit most Raiders coaches in the last 20 years inherited a 3 or 4 win team. And guess what? They won 3 or 4 games and got fired 2 years later because nothing got better. This is the exact opposite. They inherited a 10 win team, turned it into a 6 win team. And right now, let's be honest, we're probably looking at a 3 to 5 win team at this point. And they've gotten drastically worse. So I don't need continuity if the product is going completely in the wrong direction for 2 straight years.
Yes, 100%. That's called an abusive relationship right there. You can't, you gotta do that. My favorite Spillane moment as a Raider, we finally, and I was waiting for a bad play to happen because the Raiders just can't get an interception and get run.
What is he doing?
They get run back. Like, absolutely. Like, okay, so you get one of those airmail fair catch interceptions. They finally caught one after, Herbert went to the end zone and was in the red zone and threw one that went right through Marcus Peters' hands, and then Trayvon Moore dropped another one. But he gets it. He runs it back. Looks pretty good in the run back. Runs it back all the way to like the 35-yard line. So you're going to start off where even if you do the
field goal range.
You're in field goal range. If you do the Josh McDaniels run the ball on 2nd and 11, you're still gonna probably score points here. And he thinks it's 1975, and we're doing like these ridiculous hits, and like everybody knows you can't make that hit anymore. Like what was that rule even in place? Like that was a long time ago. Right. I mean,
it's been several seasons since they put that.
I mean, it's been a long time since you cannot crack, but you cannot do that, or you can't make those. You can't make those kind of blocks in football anymore. And he makes it, and then it brings it back out. My other favorite moment was DeAndre Carter. Like, I mean, like, I know he's like a smaller dude, but you have a great kickoff. Like the punter and the kicker can't take you down. Like, you got to do something. If it's stiff arm, if it's a spin move, if you run through him, but he can't take you down on that play. So I mean that was like a couple of shining moments here where the Raiders actually could have had something going on. They didn't have anything going on as well. I mean, after the INT, they didn't get any points out of that drive anyway, right?
They did not.
They did not
score. They would have been in field goal range, and they didn't score.
And how do you feel about the 58-yard field goal? Do you think would you have tried to kick it, or would you have?
I don't think it mattered. I mean, you were down.
Yeah,
you're down 14 at that point.
Another point I want to bring to you is him not. Is he not getting the information quickly enough? Like, how could he? I thought he didn't challenge the Devontae Adams touchdown. The bang bang.
And it cost him a minute.
Say again?
Cost them a minute of game clock because they got stuffed on the next play and they had to run a play after that. So that's on the coaching. That everything that goes on, believe it or not, I'd say some of it is on the players. The players have to make the tackles. Like Josh McDaniels not out tackling for them, but that can't be an excuse over and over again. Put different players on the field. Like the one thing that the takeaway had is when Devon Diablo, I don't know if I want to call it, missed the sack on Herbert that led to the rollout and the 20-yard completion where he had him, and then he gave him a little pup fake, and you saw Diablo turn around like you're playing like fetch with your dog, and he started running the other way instead of tackling the quarterback. And then he missed. You should have taken him out on that play. And then he missed a tackle on the next play. And it was a couple of plays later before they actually took him out. Like, if there's accountability on this roster and with this front office, Jerry Tillery should not be on this roster as of the time this hits Twitter or whenever it hits YouTube.
Yes.
He's a liability in the run game.
Yeah.
He does offer some pass rush, but the plays that he makes that cost you yardage,
games
and points and games don't make up for the player that you're getting. I have nothing against Jerry Tillery as a person or a human. I don't know Jerry Tillery, but Jerry Tillery is not a winning football player, and Ted Nguyen tweeted that out, and I completely agree with that. There's no reason to have him on this team because that was something was going on. I don't know if he has a beef with Herbert, but that was clearly personal.
Yeah.
It was clearly uncalled for, and it severely hurt his team. He deserved every bit of that ejection. And I know there's some fans out there that were saying it's not fair. He shouldn't get ejected. He was clearly out of bounds, and he blasted him. It's not like he went over there and put a hand on him and pushed him down.
It wasn't he lost his footing and tripped or nothing like that. No, he knew exactly what he was doing.
And those kind of plays can't happen.
Yeah, and who's to forget? Like, wasn't he the same guy who slapped the ball out of Baker Mayfield's hand last year? So yeah, that's Jerry Tillery. And he was.
I might be wrong, but I think he jumped off sides earlier this year that cost the Raiders on a 4th down. But
he was acquired by this administration.
This regime claimed him off a waiver. The Chargers released him towards the end of last season. The Raiders picked him up, and not only did they pick him up, they signed him again in the offseason because he's a free agent. So let's put this on the column under Dave Ziegler misses. It's another one. It's a lengthy column.
Yes.
You know, it's hard to miss that much in 2 off seasons, but he has.
And still have a job. So I don't know where he goes, or where they go. I think this is a game where the talent. I mean, the Packers have been up, and they pay Packers next, right?
Monday Night Football on national TV.
Can that be like they can't flex Monday Night Football?
Not yet.
Are there 2 games on? 2 games on? Just one?
Just one. I believe it's just one.
Why does the nation have to see the Raiders? Oh my god, that's so nuts, dude. That's so nuts. I mean, it's gonna be like the Raiders. The ESPN's gonna be like a shot of the stadium. Beautiful stadium. Game over. It's just. I mean, the Packers are an up and down team, but they do have more talent than the Raiders. So, and the Raiders have never any quarterback who can run a little bit. They've struggled with. So I would expect them to struggle with Jordan Love as well. But that's neither here nor there as far as that goes. I don't even. I mean, like it is. I do want to see one thing about the, like if back to Diablo. Even if you're in that moment and you're Diablo, just bear hug the quarterback and just hold him. Even if you're not, even if he's just like your arms are around his waist, like they cannot give you a penalty. I've not seen that yet, but maybe they could. But they haven't given you a penalty for that yet. So just hold the player. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like going for like a pump fake? Like what are we doing with that? Like, it's just, oh my god, dude, it's just unbelievable. I don't
think I've ever seen that before.
That one, or just
make contact with the quarterback, and then he somehow gets a pump fake, and you turn around and run the other direction.
And this idea that everybody says, "Oh, we're so scared to touch quarterbacks," like, dude, in that moment, like, come on, dude, you can hold on to dear life. You got people coming in to help you. You can't do that. And him and Spillane have been like those missed tackles. Like that's where I give. Listen, I'm not gonna give Patrick Graham a freaking any kind of like pass or anything, but I feel like in that moment where you scheme up something and he's right next to the quarterback and he just does that, you can't even teach how dumb that is. And he hasn't. I don't think he's given up a lot of points. I think Patrick Graham in his career with the Raiders, he hasn't given up. This is the most points he's given up to Herbert. I think it's 20.
No, they probably gave up more last year.
Last year was it last?
I know they won one game 27-20.
I think because the first last year was first game of the year. They lost that game 24 to. Was it? I think 24 is the mark. I think because they didn't lose 24-19 last year, the first game of the year.
I got it right here.
Yeah. Because it's been 3 games.
Last year they lost.
First game of the year.
Chargers, 24-19.
Yep, and then the
and
next
then
Warriors.
27-20. So that's the most.
Yeah. That's the most. So like,
Again, I don't
what it
know
is.
if that was
But
as much as the Chargers just saying, "Hey, we're up 24-7" and not being aggressive, but
yeah, me
they
either.
also didn't have Eckler or Williams yesterday.
Yep. And
I feel bad there are players on this team playing well. It's not all gloom and doom. I feel bad for those players, but there's clearly weaknesses at defensive tackle, linebacker, corner, offensive line, interior offensive line, and these are all issues that have been around. And that's my concern is they haven't fixed those. And we're not recording here saying there's no way to fix those problems for the rest of the season. They don't have the horses on the roster at those positions. So the coaching is going to have to scheme up ways to move the ball, to score in the red zone, to run the football, to get pressure when you don't have those, and they're just not doing that.
Yeah. Do you feel like a lot of people were texting and in the text lines talking about do you feel like he's in a situation where like he was trying to get one of his players a big catch in that moment? Because like in that moment you feel like the ball should, before the O'Connell interception, it should go to either Jacobs or an opportunity for Devontae Adams to tie the game.
I would say yes, because he did the same thing last week on 4th and 5, trying to force that juke route to Jakobi Meyers. He's trying to get the ball to Jakobi Meyers in certain spots, which is fine. But like when it's 4th and 5, if it's to tie the game in the red zone, I would have handed the ball off to Josh Jacobs. But you should. Devontae Adams had his way with the Chargers on that drive, and I would just keep going there until they stop it. But I see a lot of people seem to want to move forward with O'Connell. I would not do that. I would definitely go back to Jimmy Garoppolo next week. Jimmy Garoppolo still gives you the best chance to win because he understands protections, he understands blitzes, he can get the ball out. Is he going to turn the ball over? Yeah, probably. So O'Connell did it 3 times, and he couldn't protect himself, and he didn't have an internal clock, and he couldn't get rid of the football, and he wasn't taking what the defense was giving him, and the Raiders cannot win playing that way. They can't win turning the ball over, period. But if the quarterback's going to take 4, 5, 6, 7 sacks a week, they definitely can't win any games.
No, they can't. They can't. No question about it. All right. Well, that was the game in a nutshell. I'm not sure anything else we want to cover as far as that goes. Recapping the Raiders 24-17 loss to the Chargers here. If you've seen Sean Merriman's little tweet about Hug a Raider fan,
I don't watch anything of Sean Merriman.
Me either. And I'm like, dude, like I was just like, dude, Sean. I was like, Sean Merriman. I'm like, Sean, like really, cousin. Like, I mean, I've seen him out here before too. I'm like, really, let's. I mean, I can go a lot. We can go a lot of places with Sean Merriman. So I'll leave it alone as far as that goes. But yeah, the Raiders lose again. I'm not like this week here is. I mean, all weeks are pivotal, but I do think you lose this game here and you go 1-4. Yes, they come up on a couple of games, but I think with the Patriots and Bears, like that are maybe somewhat winnable because they've been so bad. But let's be real, like that situation where that could get. I mean, 1-4 gets really ugly with another home loss in front of a bunch of Packer fans in Vegas.
I don't think any of those 3 games are layups at this point with the way this team's playing.
No.
If I'm Justin Fields, I'm just running the ball 10, 15 times myself.
Did he beat the Raiders already, Justin Fields?
Oh, I was at that game. That is correct.
That was gross. I remember that game. Oh my god.
That was either the last game. That was the
last Gruden game. Last Gruden game.
That was the last Gruden game because the emails came out. I remember because my younger brother got married that weekend, and I was in Temecula for the wedding.
Yeah.
When those came out, and I remember texting you. I think it was like a Friday, and then the wedding was Saturday, and then I drove to Vegas on Sunday to watch them lose to the Bears.
Gross. All right, Ray Nation. A lot of content coming for you. We got Ryan will look at we'll break down all these the moments where Spillane and
the crash test dummy clips are coming.
Well, you gotta get the sound effects in there too.
I'm just gonna put them all in one video, like a minute and a half of just the linebackers running into the running backs.
And never trying to elude the running back in any way.
Not trying to get to the quarterback. We're just gonna run as full speed into the running back every time.
I can't. All right, Red Nation. Take care. We'll get us out. We'll get us off. We'll get a preview show coming later in the week against the Packers as the Cheeseheads invade Allegiant Stadium. Monday Night Football. Well, at least you'll have at the very least you have a clean weekend, right? You can just do whatever you want. If the missus doesn't want to do something, you can go ahead and do that. So that is what it is. All right, Red Nation.
We'll see.
Peace.